humans are hardwired to be emotional rather than informed. And that's been true since forever, I guess. This is getting philosophical now.
Welcome to Bonfire Conversations. I'm Jez Corden, and today I'm sitting down with the executive editor at Windows Central, co-host of the Xbox 2 podcast, and one of the most trusted voices covering the business side of gaming, Mr. Jez Corden. In this episode, we talk deep about relationships, fame, self-censorship, and how he balances honesty with the weight his words carry, and his very candid, very unfiltered read on where AI, media, and the game industry are actually headed. We also get into his 5 favorite films and games, and the one piece of British food discourse he's willing to die on. Before we begin, please consider subscribing to Bonfire Conversations on YouTube or wherever you listen to the podcast. This is my conversation with Jez Corden.
It's been a hell of a week or so, and there's a lot going on in the game industry. However, in this conversation, I want to focus on you, on creativity, on positivity. For example, you've recently gotten engaged, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Ha! Congratulations. That's a 13-year relationship, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. 13 and a half years.
Now, first question. What's the key to having a healthy, long relationship?
Oh, man, communication. Definitely communication. Compromise. Learning what each other's sort of, I don't know, because everyone grows up differently, right? And everyone...
Oh, you're muted, Jez. You're muted on... Oh, you're back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Great.
Yeah. The key to a healthy relationship. Well, first of all, I don't know if I'm the best person to really give advice on this, but I suppose I am, because I'm very lucky to have had such a long relationship. But I think communication is key. Like, everyone grows up differently, and they've had different life experiences, and making sure you know, like, what makes each other happy and what makes each other unhappy, and like sort of compromising on all that kind of thing. I think that's probably the most important thing, I would say. Be willing to talk and put your ego aside and admit when you've been done wrong, which I've done plenty in my life and in my relationship. So it's helped me grow as a person, and my girlfriend's extremely patient with me, so I'm very lucky.
And you're both gamers, right?
No, actually, no. I mean, she likes playing The Sims and things like that, but she's not what she wouldn't describe herself as a gamer, I don't think. But she does like The Sims. She's a big Sims fan.
Great. Now, you've become such an iconic figure in the game industry that when the name Jez Corden comes, people always pay attention. How do you manage fame? Does it come with like responsibility for you? Do you enjoy it?
Oh man, I mean, I don't know if I'm that, like, I don't know if I'm famous really. I mean, I'm so, like, there's people with like millions of followers and stuff, like Twitch streamers, and that's kind of like there's sort of, I suppose, levels of fame. Kind of, I describe myself at best as notorious, maybe, but like in the wider gaming industry, like I still don't feel famous or anything like that. It's very much like I think like it's very like Twitter especially is like a very small part of what gaming represents. When we think about how big some of these games are, like Roblox, for example, like Roblox is bigger than Steam and PlayStation combined. And I never written about Roblox. So as someone who, if they, there's an entire generation of people playing Roblox, and they wouldn't have heard of, like, they probably don't know who Hideo Kojima is, for example, or like some of the people that we would consider famous in core gaming. But at the same time, it is surreal still when I go to like an event like Gamescom or Summer Game Fest, and people come up to me and say nice things and stuff like that. I don't take it for granted, because it's really humbling for me. I really appreciate anyone who takes time to say hello, like yourself as well, like, because for me it's still crazy. I still remember very clearly in my mind when I had like 100 followers on Twitter, and I tried to try to stay cognizant of that, really.
Yeah, your words carry a lot of weight. So, do you like sometimes self-censor yourself because of that? Like, all right, whatever I put out, whether it's an article or a tweet or something, it's gonna reach out.
Oh, definitely.
More than a normal person. Do you like second guess what you're writing?
Well, thing with me is like, and it's this kind of like a selfish thing, I suppose, in a way, that one of the things that I've always tried to hold on to throughout my whole life is being like as honest as possible. And for some reason, I got into my head that the first thing that you say, the first thing you think is the most honest thing. The first thing that comes to mind is the most honest thing. So oftentimes, like on Twitter, I'll tweet the first thing that comes into my head. And it does and has got me into trouble a lot. So I try to be a little bit more thoughtful these days as I get a bit older and stuff. I try to avoid talking about politics, especially because you just can't win. You can't win because, you know, there's you're never going to convince anyone or change anyone's mind. So, like, why even bother? So I tend to avoid those kind of things. So that's probably the thing I would most censor myself about is political kind of stuff, online at least. But because I'm just too tired to deal with the headaches that come with it. But insofar as like gaming opinions, not really. Like I don't really, you know, gaming's not that serious. So, you know, some people get really serious about it, but I never really took it that seriously. It's supposed to be fun. It's gaming. It's supposed to bring us joy, right? It's not supposed to be something people get really mad about. So I don't really censor myself when it comes to gaming, but on the more important things, there's a lot of things I'd like to say about a lot of politicians and things like that would get me into trouble. But it's just not worth the smoke.
Yeah, that's a healthy way to approach it. Let's go back, Jez. Let's go back and call this segment, I don't know, Jez Corden, The Origin. Tell me about getting into journalism. How did your career start and what kicked it off? Take your time and walk me through your success story.
It's such a strange thing because it's not like I ever thought about doing this as a career. I didn't go to school for this, and I didn't go to university, and I didn't go to college. So I come from like a part of England that's very deprived, you know, comparatively speaking. There was a study recently that said like my area is the most deprived in England now. So it's kind of like you grow up where I grew up. It was kind of embedded in people not to have dreams or to have, you know, aspirations almost. Like, I remember when I was at school, I spoke to careers, because when you're in year 9 and about 13 years old at my school in England, you have these like, you do this like work experience thing when you're 13, and you go and work in a random office or something for 2 weeks and have a career advisor. And I told my career advisor that I wanted to be a paleontologist, like digging up dinosaur bones. I really liked dinosaurs as a kid. And she laughed at me. You know, and I kind of feel like if she'd encouraged me and told me like, yeah, okay, this is, if you seriously want to be a paleontologist, this is what you got to do. You got to get your biology A level, and then you've got to go to university and study paleontology. These are the universities that do paleontology. Maybe you've got to, you know, write letters and start studying now, like use the internet and study paleontology in your spare time. Maybe I could have done it. But she basically just laughed at me and was like, hey, you can type fast. Maybe you should work in an office, right? So maybe that's more realistic, but nobody ever taught me to dream. So none of this stuff was ever even on my radar. I always liked playing games. And I always liked making websites. I always made content when I was a kid, before YouTube existed. I was very lucky. My parents bought me a computer because they saw Bill Gates on the news saying that every kid would need a computer, and they believed him. So they got me a computer that's on a credit card, and took a ton of debt on to get me a computer, which I'm really grateful for. And through that, learned to use Flash and make cartoons. I used to animate cartoons and I used to put them on the internet. Then I used to make music and I put that on the internet. I was, just sort of dabbling here and there. And I used to make websites. And then I got a job as an IT technician in a high school, and they had websites, right? And that kind of thing. So I used to run the websites, and to sort of teach myself modern web design, because I'd gotten a bit rusty, I thought I'll just make a blog about gaming just for fun. And that's how it started. I coded a CMS in Notepad, which had terrible security. So it had no security. It was a flat text-based database I've coded in Notepad, and it was just a flat database with no security, no encryption or anything. So someone could have just easily broke the website whenever they felt like it. But I did that for a while, and then it was because of Windows Phone, because I was covering the Xbox features on Windows Phone because I thought it was really cool and nobody else was really covering it. And one day Nokia sent me an email because they'd seen my coverage on Reddit, all my articles and my opinion pieces. And Nokia sent me an email and said, "We'd like to fly you out to Spain for the launch of the Lumia 640.
Wow.
This was like 13 years ago, something like that. 12 years ago, maybe. And I was like, God, yeah, that'd be awesome. Like, I couldn't believe it, right? I didn't think it was real. And then I got to Barcelona and I'm covering a phone launch just because I was covering the Xbox features on it. And then I got an email from Daniel Rubino, who runs Windows Central to this day, offering me a job. And that was it. That's how it started. It's just completely random, really.
Wow. One of the reasons
incredibly lucky.
Yeah, it's like combination of technology and your love of video games. And one of the reasons I love listening to you is your understanding of business and tech behind the game industry, which people often don't think about. Your predictions or analysis are right most of the time, and that says a lot about your analytical mind. Tell me about this strong perk of yours. How do you keep yourself up to date? And how does your mind work when you're looking at a strategy or a crisis or a revolution in tech and in game industry?
Well, I'll be honest. I cheat. I got very good friends in the industry who I've made over the years who will take my questions on this kind of topic. And people high up in the industry who you would be familiar with, but I won't share names. But they've been very, very helpful, helping me understand the economics, the business stuff, boring stuff like supply chains and, some of the economic stuff, what the acronyms mean, like total addressable market and return on investment and P&Ls and all this kind of stuff. Because it is really important, because it informs us like why some of these big companies make the decisions they make. And I've always wanted to understand, because it's really easy to sort of just sit there and be like,
yeah,
big corporations are evil and greedy and all this kind of thing. But at the end of the day, they're run by humans, and nobody wants to be. Well, some people do, but like I don't think anyone at Xbox specifically sits there and wakes up in the morning and think, "How can I screw over the gamers today?" So I like to try and understand like the reasoning behind some of the decisions they make, whether they're unpopular, whether they're, a good decision, and so on and so forth. And I try to give people the benefit of the doubt, I suppose. But sometimes people don't want to, like, my friend Rand, who runs Xbox 2 podcast with me, he always says, like, people don't care how the sausage is made, right? Because how to make a sausage is pretty nasty, right?
Yeah.
They just want the sausage, the end product, is what he said. So, but there is like that passionate core of people who are into gaming. They do want to understand how it works, and I try and write for them. Really, it's like the intersection of technology and gaming is kind of what I'm really interested in, and less so the art and the subjective stuff, the cultural stuff, because you can't measure that. You can't measure how good art is, I think. But at least like with the maths and the numbers and the money, there's something to sort of grab onto, if you get me. I think it's easy for me to deal with that.
And you have obviously you have a very curious mind, which helps a lot. I mean, you could easily sit down and like, oh, I think the business is running like this and write about it. But you're making sure whatever you say is true. You go investigate behind the scene, and that's really helpful.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think part of it's being British. Like in Britain, we all grow up watching like the BBC and David Attenborough and stuff, and the BBC has this kind of like, the BBC has its biases too, but it's like the law that the BBC has to present both sides of an argument. It's like literally the law for the BBC to follow these rules, and to their detriment sometimes. Like sometimes they present the other side of the argument, can often be in bad faith and things like that. But it always sort of, and stuff like David Attenborough as well, like David Attenborough documentaries, like they are made for entertainment, but it's kind of like there is this sort of strong media tradition in Britain, and it's often not very nice tradition. British paparazzis are kind of legendary for being horrible, but there's a lot of like really good, well-intentioned journalists in Britain and that whole tradition around it. And that's kind of like where I try and approach it from.
Yeah. Technology, especially over the past 5 years, has been evolving at a crazy speed while the economy is struggling. Now, the cyberpunk genre is often described as high-tech, low-life. Do you think we're heading there? And what's your view of the word when it comes to technology and its impact on human life?
So, I've been thinking about this a lot lately. So it's kind of poignant you asked this. And I've got this thing where I try and think about what I'm thinking about. So like and try and analyze my own biases and stuff. So I've been pretty anti-artificial intelligence, right? But I am also very cognizant of the fact that artificial intelligence negatively impacts me and my job. So I have a bias there where it's like I want to hate it because it's destroying my business. And then I try and I separate that bit out and I try and look at it like from a more objective position. Like, is there anything actually here that's actually good? And is it actually going to help society? And, when one of the consequences of learning about the economics of gaming, you end up learning about the economics of the stock market and the economics of investment banking and the economics and the mechanics. And then from that, you end up learning more about geopolitics and the way these sort of huge technological corporations are sort of intertwining and intermixing with all this kind of stuff. And it is overwhelming. And then you look at further out and the way some especially American tech companies are sort of positioning themselves in military applications and the government and buying elections and things like that. It is the stuff that Cyberpunk basically warns us about, right? So I used to be very excited and optimistic about tech. I was a top techno optimist, especially when I first started doing this. Very naive, I suppose. And, the iPhone was just taking off and, we had Windows Phone, God rest its soul. And, the app economy was growing and it felt like there was an app for everything and it was cool and we had all this convenience. But now in 2026 and it's just algorithms are just social media algorithms are so blatantly destructive for mental health and for discourse, and people get addicted to them and productivity. You can spend hours scrolling on your phone and not even realize how much harm it's doing to you. It does feel like some governments are starting to wise up to this, and the UK and Europe are trying to ban social media for under 13s. But it also feels like too little, too late in some degrees. And because the destruction is coming not from the little kids, The destruction is coming from adults who are using these algorithms. So I have become something of a pessimist in more recent years. I think artificial intelligence is a massive bubble. And while I do think like the way it organizes information is going to have some applications, right, for potentially discovering new drugs and identifying trends from like massive reams of data that would take humans a long time to parse. When it comes to like human creativity and internet content and internet discourse, I think it's going to be like it's going to be exceptionally destructive. And that's before you start talking about the economic impacts that it's had, you know, pushing up chip prices and impacting the carbon emissions. You know, we've seen like crazy heat waves in Europe this year, and it's obviously because of carbon emissions, but nobody wants to admit that because it's been politicized by the very same people who benefit from carbon emissions. So, you know, it is becoming a bit cyberpunky, isn't it? But I don't know where it's going to go. I suppose like we'll just have to wait and see, I suppose. The problem is like so much of it is out of it's the impacts of this technology, this era. The decisions are concentrated in such a small amount of people's hands, and it's frankly it's America. Like Europe has no, like, the entire European Union has no real say or control over what America does or its companies do. They try to legislate, but there's just not a lot they can do. And then China like has to compete with America, so they're kind of going hard on it as well with the AI stuff. And because they feel like, you know, if there is something to this technology, we want to be there too, right? So it just feels like this sort of race to the bottom. It's kind of like I've seen some technologists describe it as the modern nuclear arms race, where it's like the nuclear weapons, they don't really benefit anyone. I'm thinking like, is AI going to be like that, where it's just become this thing that everyone has to have, even though it's, you know, basically evil, like nuclear weapons. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it feels like that, and I think maybe it's the speed of it, but the evolution of human kind and the evolution of the technology. When we see it, we have time to kind of like adapt ourselves to it. But this whole AI thing is changing so fast that we need.
It's so fast.
Yeah, maybe that is why it's so kind of like at this moment at least it's so scary.
Yeah, it's I was thinking about this the other day about how like we've sort of, and this is like in a gaming context too.
Yeah.
I've been playing some games that I've playing recently, like Doom: The Dark Ages and Avowed, because the studios have been impacted by Xbox's cuts, and I was just kind of like, I want to see if the games they put out warrant all these cuts. And the first time I tried playing these games, I started playing them and I put them down within half an hour. And I was just kind of like, why did I put them down? And why did I just like have such a negative perception of these games after only playing it for 30 minutes? And then, because when I've actually tried to put more time into it and push through the intro at the start, that's a bit slow when you don't have all the upgrades yet and that kind of thing. Increasingly, I've started to realize that like I just have no attention span anymore. And I think like whether it's social media algorithms or artificial intelligence, we're sort of training ourselves as a society to expect things instantaneously and have like no patience. Like we don't want to be bored anymore. We can't stand to be bored. Like whether it's Uber Eats or ChatGPT or Alexa or whatever, like everything's just at our fingertips 24/7. So when you've got like Alexa, shut up. Echo speaker just went off. So exactly, it's too much technology. So like when you actually like, yeah. So when you look at games, it's like games take years and years to make now, and people are just like, they're so impatient. They don't want the kind of games that, or they think they want it, but they're kind of like they can't want it anymore because they've just got no attention span anymore. Or at least like increasing amounts of us don't have attention span anymore. So I'm sort of trying to wean myself off like algorithms and you know, so like Sunday, all I did was I listened to music all day, trying to like wean myself off algorithms and reading the news and the feeds and just try and relax a bit, you know. And I think we could all benefit from accepting boredom a bit more.
Actually, on that, that being away from technology and boredom happened to me in the worst case possible. I live in Iran, and for a few months the war is going on at this very moment. So for like 3 or 4 months, I guess, we didn't have internet connection. And that means no social media, no connection to your Xbox or PlayStation, Steam, or anything like that. And suddenly, I've been gaming a lot, and suddenly all of that stopped. And it was like, I felt like a junkie. I mean, aside from all that, the house is being shaken by the bombs, I felt like yo, I need Instagram. I need, what's going on? I want to play that game on Xbox. And I felt like a junkie. I was like feeling it in my bones. But like 2 weeks after that, dude, it was amazing being away from all that. So like reading books, all of a sudden going back, playing old games. And crazy thing is, while my town was bombarded, I was like, all right, let's do something fun. Let's start from first Call of Duty when it came out and play them all to the last one. And it's like those memes that you're like, is that the game or is that the real world? and I was like appreciating the games more. My attention span towards anything was more like even talking to people. You're more understanding. And then the internet came back and I was like, oh, what's going on Instagram? All right, I'm going to limit this. I'm back to square one again.
It does feel weird of me to like complain about things like algorithms, given what you're going through and other people around the world are going through. Because it's one of the things in the West, like we take all this, shit for granted. This is something I always try to be cognizant of is how damn lucky I am, and how lucky like people around me are. When like a lot of people in Western Europe, especially, and America and stuff, they don't know like how much chaos there can be, and we get this sort of complacency. Like I've got relatives who, we're cognizant of it a bit in Britain because they drill it into us about World War II. And my grandparents were in World War II, and they drilled it into their kids, who are my parents, and they drilled it into us, about the horrors of World War II. And now we've got Ukraine going on. There's a lot of Ukrainian refugees in my town. And it's like, it makes all this technological stuff seem so trivial. But like the problem is like, when you zoom out and look at it from like a macro level, it all comes back to the same roots. It's money. It all comes back to the same place in the end, where it's like corporations driving division to, at the end make a small amount of people some tons of money at the expense of everyone else in some ways. It is cyberpunk, isn't it?
Yeah. Let us look at the future. My first job ever was writing for a tech magazine in Iran. I was around like 16. And I think looking back at those days, over all these years, media, journalism around video games have changed a lot. Going to social media, podcasts, and all that. And I think we're at a pivotal moment in the game industry as well. Tech is changing, and the backbone of games is technology. In the middle of all these changes, I believe video game media should also evolve and adapt. Now, how do you see the current form of video games, media, and journalism? And what's your prediction for its future? What should change and what shouldn't?
One thing we're seeing right now is this dilution of attention, and gaming and Hollywood and everything's kind of being affected by this. Like back in the day, it was like if you wanted to be a journalist or you wanted to be a movie maker or a video game producer, you had to go through one of these established mega publishers, right? But now with the era of independent content creation, whether it's on TikTok or whether it's on YouTube or people making their own websites or just tweeting, you can get your information literally anywhere, wherever you want now. So I think the future of journalism really is going to be individual, independent creators, probably YouTubers, increasingly so. And I think less so like big gaming outlets and big gaming websites. I just saw GameSpot laid off like a few dozen people recently. Google summary box, like they'll just take the website's content and slap it straight in the Google Gemini AI search box, so you don't like get any clicks out of that, right? So Google's basically telling the internet, like, if you want to make money online, you have to do it through our YouTube channel, which is again another one of them sort of cyberpunky kind of things where an American corporation's basically stolen the internet. That's literally what Google's done over the past years. They've locked down content creation to the point where if you want to make any money online, you have to do it through YouTube. There's no other real way of doing it, right? And then you have to follow YouTube's rules and American advertisers' rules, and we come back to the whole cyberpunk definition again, right? Like maybe who someone at Google could decide certain topics aren't valued for cover anymore. They could decide, rule against freedom of speech, and who knows wherever else. We end up the internet ends up being closed and basically designed on a whim by, again, a small concentration of individual people. So I think in the short term, that's probably where it'll go. It'll probably all go to YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, I think, information in the short term. Longer term, it's really weird. Like, there does seem to be this trend away from technology. The company that owns Windows Central also owns a lot of magazines, and the magazine business has been growing.
Really?
A lot of people want to buy. Yeah, a lot of people want to go analog again.
It's like the vinyl thing.
Vinyl records and cassettes are coming back. People want to buy magazines again. So who knows, man? Like, fashion's cyclical, but I think because of the dilution of, it's like a double-edged sword. There's like more opportunity for individual creators than ever, which is a good thing. But there's less opportunity than ever for sort of super high quality, well-researched content and that kind of thing. People just want fast, entertaining content. And honestly, it's a trend that's been happening since the 70s. Since the invention of like the sort of entertaining news, like Fox News in America, if you're familiar with that. Since the invention of that, really, it's been gradually trending towards less information, where the news is like less about information and more about how it makes you feel. Does it entertain you? Does it affirm your biases? Does it make you think, does it make you angry? Does it make you sad? It's not about the information anymore, but I don't know. Humans are hardwired to be emotional rather than informed. And that's been true since forever, I guess. This is getting philosophical now.
Yeah. I was just before this, I was watching the trailer of this new movie from Alejandro Inarritu called Digger. Tom Cruise is playing.
I saw the trailer for that earlier, yeah.
Yeah. But at the end of it, it says, the news is out, but not the story. I was like, yeah, that's so true. The news might be out and everyone knows it, but people listen to this story. Oh, what's this story about this? And I think you're right. Yeah, if the individuals is going to make content, if the individuals are putting out stories, so then how do people trust CNN, Fox, BBC, and all that? There comes like, all right, your news, your content goes through our channel, through our filter, which you were talking about Google. So that would be the way to control how a news is coming out.
Yeah. I mean, like you get to that point where it's like, okay, because the problem is society and the sort of shareholder driven economies, everything demands like infinite growth, right? So where does Google, like, let's say, for example, Google ends up controlling the entire stack. They control the whole information economy. They pretty much already do, but there's no more independent creators left. Everyone's relies entirely on YouTube. Sorry. Everyone relies entirely on YouTube. And like, say, for example, on PlayStation, just an example, PlayStation's getting cooked online right now for cancelling physical discs. Everyone's mad at them for killing physical discs, right? Maybe Google can be like, okay, PlayStation, pay us a bunch of money and we'll suppress these stories in the algorithm so you don't look so bad.
Yeah.
Just an example, right? I'm not saying that they will do that, but it's like, it's something that could realistically happen.
Easily.
If this is a way for them to make money in an era where they've run out of other ways to make money, like, is that not something they could potentially do? And then, or if there's freedom of speech laws and that kind of thing, all it would require is the right politicians, the right campaign donations to, make the opposition to that go away. We see it all the time with stuff like when a company wants to get something through in America or in Europe or anywhere really, it's just about having the right politicians in place to promote your agenda, really. And as I get older, it's just you start just feeling more and more powerless to fight against any of that stuff. But I don't know.
Yeah, but what do you think would happen to these big video game media like IGN, GameSpot, and all that?
Well, I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know how IGN's doing. I know we're not doing that well. But it's a tough universe to be in. I mean, it's really, really hard to say. I think like there's just going to be less opportunity unless you're an absolutely massive website. So like maybe IGN being the biggest one, they survive. GameSpot, like, I don't know if GameSpot survives. I don't know if they're big enough against
Eurogamer,
IGN.
for example.
Yeah, well, Eurogamer's owned by IGN, so
oh yeah.
They're kind of like all the same thing now, and a lot of these publishers like Fandom who own GameSpot, and there's a lot of consolidation going on right now. Vox Media sold off half of its properties recently to another company. They sold Polygon to Valnet. So I do wonder if like there is room in, I think there'll be less opportunity for these big sites, but I think like the biggest sites will survive and like a lot of the medium-sized sites will probably die off is the way I see it. And the smaller sites will just either end up being funded by a small group of fans like a Patreon or something, or they'll also die, I guess.
Wow. All right, Jez. I have a segment on the podcast called Penny for Your Thoughts, where I ask some deep, personal, sometimes silly questions to get to know them better. Are you ready for it?
Hit me.
All right. What's something you've completely changed your mind about in the last 5 years?
That's a good question. I think like technology, honestly. Like I used to be, like I said, I said it earlier, but like it's just top of mind now because we were talking about it. But I used to be so optimistic about technology and its future, and I really thought like technology will just get better and better, and eventually, that whole meme of like we'll have flying cars someday.
Yeah.
And then like as I get older, it's just like you start realizing that technology will only get better if it can make someone a load of money. Like we think about things like colonizing space, for example, and space travel, and technology that will actually help people. Like if it's not going to make money, it's never going to. They're just not going to do it. So I've become a bit cynical towards the system with regards to that, I suppose. But yeah, that's the obvious one I can think of.
But technology, by its nature, is not problematic or evil. It's like the knife, the tool. But the people and how they use it end up making it.
I think for me, it's like the priorities, where the investment happens, right? It's kind of like the issue for me. Like there's an enormous amount of money being invested in artificial intelligence right now. And it's not because they're excited about helping people with it. It's because they're excited about taking people's jobs away and, replacing people. So I want to think about like just Microsoft, for example, in a microcosm. Like Microsoft tends to, they don't invest in things that they think is cool anymore. They don't try and do cool things anymore. They just invest in whatever will make the share price look nice or make the share price attractive. So, it's that kind of like that criticism where like pharmaceutical companies, for example, pharmaceutical companies prioritize their research on treatments rather than cures because you can sell a treatment in perpetuity, but you can only sell a cure once. It's that kind of thing, right? But I don't know. If capitalism is functioning as it's supposed to function, someone is supposed to come along and offer a product that's better and cheaper and make the other companies compete with that, right? We're seeing that with China right now. China's putting out artificial intelligence models like DeepSeek, which are orders of magnitude cheaper than ChatGPT and some of the American models. So the American models are having to like figure out ways to get cheaper too, right? That's kind of how competition should work. And sometimes it does work in a positive way, but a lot of times it doesn't, I suppose. I've become cynical over the last few years. I think that's probably the thing that I've changed my mind about the most.
And
I've become cynical.
Do you think it would change? And do you have hope?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's too early.
Being completely honest.
Yeah. All right, next one. If the game industry disappeared tomorrow, what career would you honestly enjoy?
That's really tough, man. I've been thinking about this a lot because obviously I don't know what's going to happen to gaming as a games media as a medium. I don't really enjoy making YouTube videos that much. I find it to be laborious. Some people love it, but I prefer writing. I've always preferred writing. What career would I like? I don't know, man. It'd be something creative, but it seems so hard to change career at my age now. One thing I really wish I'd done when I was younger is pursued animation more. Like it comes back to what I was saying earlier, where like people in my town are just kind of trained not to pursue any dreams. Yeah. But like I used to animate cartoons and I used to love doing it. And some of my friends from that community went to university to learn animation, and now that they work for big companies and stuff like Aardman Studios in the UK, who made the Wallace and Gromit movies, if you know those. But yeah, I would have loved to have done animation or something in the arts, but I just never kept up with it.
Do you like the process of making it, or are you in love with telling stories?
Mm.
Because you know where I'm headed
I
with that
just
question.
I honestly don't know. I like just making satisfying. I like making things come to life with animation. It's really cool when you make something, you animate by hand and make it move naturally. It feels like you know it's just really, there's something really satisfying about it. I can't explain it, but I
Because
haven't I
you
haven't animated anything for about 20 years.
Yeah, because you like the craft of it. Because right now you can just prompt it in an AI and get your animation right away,
Yeah,
flawless.
yeah. Well, there you go. Like
But have you done it?
that's one of the problems. I haven't used AI to mess around with any of that, but that's one of the things like that these a lot of these companies are having to reckon with now is like artists. Like, will artists have a career? I don't know. Honestly, I honestly don't know what I would do. Um, I don't know. I quite like PR. Maybe I'd work in PR, but you need a degree for that. I don't know.
I don't think people are gonna ask you for a degree, sir. All right, next one. What's one hill you're willing to die on that has nothing to do with video games?
British food ain't that bad. Social media likes to paint British food as like inedible or something. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, what are you talking about? British food's fantastic.
You live in Germany now, right?
Some of the time, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You miss your own country.
But I go back and forwards. But uh, there's things I like about both of them. Like, it's the thing. The biggest differences between where I live is like in Germany, I live in the countryside. In Britain, I live in a city.
Wow.
So that's the bigger difference than the culture stuff. Culturally, I think Germany and Britain are pretty similar. But like the difference in culture between people who live in the city and live in the countryside, that's the weird thing for me. Like all the bugs and there's so many bugs here. Like where I live in England, it's too much pollution for bugs. But here there's just so many weird bugs and creatures and you know and nature. I'm not a big nature guy.
Do you have a secret talent, just?
Secret talent. Secret talent. Not really. I don't think so. I mean, I know, like I say, like, I don't think many people know that I animated cartoons. I
Yeah.
also play guitar, um, badly. I don't know. Secret talent? Not really.
What's one
Not really.
habit you're trying to break?
Habit I'm trying to break. So scrolling, man. Scrolling on social
Yeah.
media. Trying to read more books. Trying to do slower hobbies. I've started trying to play guitar a bit more recently.
Yeah.
Trying to less scrolling. Less scrolling.
Yeah, that's great. Now, next one. If someone only knew you from Twitter or your articles, what's the biggest thing they would get wrong about you?
Probably that I'm an asshole. Or maybe that'd be right. I don't know. I don't know. I seem to come across in a certain way on social media, and like I went to an event in February in New York, and I was talking to some guy on the bus about my career and his career, and we were like going back and forth on it and talking about worries and about the future and things like that. And after the end of the bus ride, the guy in front turned around and was like, um, sorry, I couldn't help but overhear your conversation. From your Twitter, I thought you were like this arrogant, horrible asshole,
Yeah.
but listening to you talk, I realized you're not like that. So I'm sitting there like thinking like, what do I come across like on social media? I don't know.
Actually,
But
I've been thinking about that about you. I don't know. You put you put out these news, this like breaking news, like, oh, Jez Corden said that. Jez Corden is like telling about the future, or is leaking something. So it's creating this like, how can I tell, like this character that is above probably other people. But when you listen to your podcast, especially with Rand, I listen to that every week. You're such a different human than your Twitter. That was the reason that I asked that question.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know what it is about Twitter. I mean, like in my head, I come across the same on Twitter that I do on the podcast, but like maybe I don't. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Next one. What's a skill, superpower you wish you had instantly?
I wish I knew. I wish I knew how to do music production. Like one. I know it's a bit. It's not like being able to fly or turn invisible, but like one thing I really envy are people who know how to sound engineer. Because when I used to make music, I used to do very, very basic sort of do like 2 or 3 tracks, and I was really terrible at mixing the audio levels. And I think you see these people who like they've got like these crazy rigs with like loop pedals and like drum machines and all this kind of stuff, all this technology. And I know I could learn it, but I just wish I had all that knowledge instantly. That'd be fantastic because I really do love making music. It's I just like it's the technology stuff that I can't be bothered to learn through.
It's crazy
Oh,
because my main profession is making music and sound design for games. So
Oh really?
yeah, I was like,
Oh, you can teach me then.
yeah, that ain't superpower. All right. What's the best piece of advice you've ever gotten?
Best piece of advice I've ever gotten. Well, one thing that I always think about, and I was telling someone about this morning, but someone I know is like feeling bad and stuff, and I was like, have you ever seen the TV show Twin Peaks?
Yeah, David Lynch.
So there's a scene where Dale Cooper's talking to Aubrey. I think it's Audrey. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think it's Audrey.
Yeah.
But he's basically someone's upset. I haven't seen the first 2 seasons for a long time. But someone's upset and he's like, here's a piece of advice. Give yourself a little present every single day. You know, just to pick yourself up, kind of thing. And I kind of try and follow that. Whether it's like a piece of cherry pie or a nice coffee or something like that. Give yourself a little present every day, a little one, and that's kind of what I try and follow.
Wow, that's a great advice. All right, next one. These questions are, according to previous guests, are the hardest ones. List me your top 5 favorite films of your life.
Top 5 films?
Yeah.
Mulholland Drive.
Oh, David Lynch fan here.
Yeah, I'm a big David Lynch guy. I love Mulholland Drive.
Yeah.
I really love The Shining. I really love Full Metal Jacket. So Stanley Kubrick.
2 Stanley Kubricks.
Apocalypse Now. Absolutely love Apocalypse Now. And I'm going to throw a weird one in here. I really, really love the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, Cyborg. You've heard of that?
Yeah.
I absolutely love that movie. I really like apocalypse movies, and like I love Mad Max and things like that. But like, there's something about the absolute bleakness of Cyborg, which I just really, really enjoyed. I like the bleak, depressing stuff. But yeah, those are the 5 off the top of my head.
Yeah, great. Now your top 5 favorite games.
top five favorite games. Silent Hill 2, definitely. Resident Evil 2, original and remake. Again, more bleak. Final Fantasy 7, the original. That's probably the game that made me fall in love with video games, I think. Um, mm,
World of Warcraft.
See, the problem for me with Warcraft, it's like Warcraft's more than a game to me.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like a way of life, right? So it's not like I can't really think of it like in game terms. It's almost like I don't know. It's something else to me. It's beyond a game to me. But I suppose Warcraft, if we're being truthful, World of Warcraft has to be one. I've got like 15,000 hours played in that game. It's absolutely obscene. And then, man, I just love like Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
I loved it at launch. Like for all the bugs and hate it got, I was just like, nah, this game is just amazing. And I'm gonna cheat and add another one here. Prey 2017 by Arcane. Absolutely love that game. It's just perfect. I think that is like the absolute pinnacle of the genre, like immersive sim for me. I just love that game. And it just sucks that we'll probably never get another one.
Speaking of Arcanes. Yeah, are you optimistic about the future of Arcane?
I think they'll get purchased. Microsoft wants to sell them. They want to spin them off. They've got to go through the French government in order to do it. But I think they'll find a buyer for Arcane, or Arcane will buy itself out. I saw on Twitter recently that the studio lead for Arcane met with the studio lead for Wolfeye, and Wolfeye is a new studio. Yeah. So maybe there's a
Raph
reunion gonna happen there.
Raph even tweeted out like how much, because he started the company now. He sold it to Bethesda, and then Microsoft bought it.
Yeah, that would be the absolute best outcome, I think. But yeah, I love Arcane. I love Dishonored. I love Prey from Arcane. Mostly Arcane Austin, I think, on that one, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I'm optimistic. There's too much talent at that studio.
Yeah.
But some studios just can't thrive in Microsoft structure.
Yeah.
Microsoft's corporate structure is it's claustrophobic and tense, and I've seen like it sounds like a really antagonistic place to work. It doesn't sound like a great environment for artists and creators, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's a big corporation. Like, it's hard to like imagine like Disney or Marvel making like a little indie project. You know, when they bought like Double Fine or smaller studios, we were like, what is this? But now it's more like Microsoft, like focusing on big brands, putting these things out. Yeah.
It's hard to make a game. It's hard to make a big complex game. It's even harder to make a big complex game when you've got like a corporate structure like Microsoft's, where Microsoft is like, because of how big Microsoft is, they're very often the target of litigation and regulatory scrutiny and all this kind of stuff. So when you're trying to make a game and you've got to like pass every line of dialogue through legal and you know, and get everything approved by like loads of different departments, and just in order to ship, that's why things just take so long compared to like, we always see like Expedition 33, for example.
Yeah.
And people were like, why couldn't like Ubisoft, because the studio's staffed with people from Ubisoft. Why couldn't Ubisoft make Expedition 33? You know, all the talent was there, all the money was there. It's because of these corporate structures and the bloat and the miscommunication and the poor communication between departments. Like the corporate inertia that takes place prevents creativity from flourishing. And I think that's why the indie scene's become so dominant now, especially on Steam, right?
Yeah. All right, last one. Your top 5 favorite game companies.
Ooh. it's tough. CD Projekt Red, definitely.
Hell yeah.
From Software, definitely. I really like 11-bit studios. They put out The Alters and Frostpunk and things like that. I really like Devolver. Devolver have like a golden touch for indie games. Fantastic publisher. And I really, really like well, Blizzard, of course.
Yeah.
Blizzard, man.
Yeah.
Blizzard forever.
Blizzard forever. All right, man. This is it, Jez. You're a great journalist. You're so good at analyzing and observing the things you love, and you're very good at it. But above all,
I appreciate that, man.
What made me want to talk to you was how kind, humble, and self-aware you are. You're always thankful to the people. You see others and an important part of your success, and you're appreciative of that. And I think we need more people like you in the world. Congratulations on your amazing career, and mega congratulations on your engagement. I wish you both all the happiness in the world, mate.
Man, I can't appreciate it enough. You know, it's like I say, like my parents, like they were unemployed and they worked in factories, and you know, I come from a place that's pretty bleak, like compared to the rest of England sometimes. So I do feel incredibly lucky, and being online and being exposed to like people who are in actual hardship, like yourself, given the crazy stuff that's going on around the world. I just can't. You just got to feel lucky, man. Like, I just feel so damn lucky.
And it means
I think a lot of people in the West take that for granted.
It really, it means a lot. It means a lot because a few months ago I wasn't sure I'll be, I'll be alive to continue talking to amazing people like this. And when I came back, I checked my inbox and all these amazing game developers, these people, filmmakers that I've spoken to on this podcast, they reached out, and it really meant a lot. I just want to thank them all here, and it really helped a lot coming back from that I wasn't alone, and being able to talk to Jez is so much. It's crazy. I always listen to your voice when I'm like listening to your podcast when I'm working out, and it's crazy that I have to participate in this conversation as well, and I'm not just listening to you. It's so beautiful.
I can't appreciate that enough, man.
Yeah,
I saw some of the people you're interviewing. I'm like, why does he want to talk to me? But it's I can't thank you enough. Like the pleasure's all mine, man.